Hello and welcome to another video for the Daniels College of Business classes. Today we're going to cover how to get set up in SPSS as well as how to import data and do some data organization. So first, import your data. Mine is already imported. So go ahead, since you already did this, do open another file. Make sure you're using Excel data and find your Avery Fitness Center data set. Now what it's going to do is ask you some questions to make sure everything is okay. In this example, yes, we want to read the first variable in our data set as the names of each row. And then all the other stuff does not apply right now. So you can go ahead and hit OK. And that will bring up your data file, which will look a little something like this. Alright, now what you need to do is go through the data set and make sure all the variables have the proper names for what you want to measure, and that everything is the proper variable, i.e. are they scale variables, nominal variables, or ordinal variables. The best way to do that is to pull up the actual survey and look at your scale and make sure that these are appropriate for scale, nominal, or ordinal variable. I'm going to fast forward this part. But if you need to confirm something, I would suggest just finding the survey key in the files in your documents on Canvas and figuring out which is most appropriate. And the next thing to do is to begin organizing our data set. We're going to use sort cases, split file, and select cases. Now to do this, it's a good idea to use something that is easy for you to know what differences are. So we are going to use a gender file. You can either be a 1 or a 2 in the gender file. So go ahead, we go down to split file under the data tab. And now we're presented with all of our variables. So go ahead and go down, find gender. Now you can either do compare groups or organize output by groups. Comparing groups will just compare the differences between the groups, but if you actually want to organize different outputs for your analysis, you go organize output by groups, add gender using the arrow into the box, click OK. And now what it's going to do is organize your data set by gender and group all the responses together. So in this case, there were people who did not respond to the question. Those answers are blank, but everyone else has either a 1 or 2 and they are organized together in the file. Now to undo this, we go back to data, go back to split file, and click that analyze all cases and do not create groups. This undoes everything that you've done. And although the file doesn't go back to normal, you can be assured that it will not compare groups differently and it will include everyone. Now we can go into sort cases, and this makes most sense for using variables that are on a scale. For instance, the revenue or visits question. We're going to use visits, add to the box, and you can sort ascending or descending. Go ahead and hit OK. And now what it'll do is it'll sort everyone by how many visits they were in. So again, we have people who did not include a visit number all the way from 0, and it'll go up depending on their input. And just like the last selection, this does not change your data set, so you don't need to worry about putting anything back the way it was. You'll still be including all your data. This just is a way to organize it. Now, the last thing we will do, which will change your data set, is the select cases function. Now finally what we're going to do is select cases. Under the data tab, we're going to select cases, and what this is going to do is exclude certain population of your data that you select. Now most likely we are going to use the if condition is satisfied. So you can go into there, you'll be presented with your data. Go ahead and click gender. And for this instance, we're going to include only those who have selected gender 2 as their option. So you can go equals and 2 and hit continue. And what this is going to do is only include those who selected gender 2. And when you hit OK, you'll see these black bars across those IDs that did not select number 2, and it will only include those who selected the number 2. Now what you can use this for is if you want to run an analysis based on a certain population and not include everybody, you can do that. And to cancel it, go back to select cases, hit all cases, and OK, and all the black bars disappear. Now in the next video, we are going to cover items including how to compute variables and recode into similar variables depending on what works for you. All right, until then, have a good one. Cheers.